This whole thing started on Fight of Flat Earth's 40,000 subscriber 40-hour live special, when Ranty was a guest, and he and Craig talked about ships disappearing bottom first, where Ranty said it was the shoaling effect. So I asked Craig for a link, and he let me in.
Alright, Tommy, over to you.
Except it's not, though.
Yeah, Ranty, I found this one on one of your videos, so I guess this is what you think happens, right?
I've got a better one than that I could perhaps send if I can find it.
Yeah, but
yeah,
even though
if you want to work with this
effect.
one, that's fine. Well, to be honest, this was number one of a whole section. This was the basic nearshore wave shoaling. Now this was nearshore, as you can see.
Yeah.
Obviously, we go further out, and I bring up other. If you want to cherry pick a particular image, that's fine. I'm quite happy for you to cherry pick this particular image.
Wow.
But there are plenty. But go ahead.
Do you breathe sometime?
Right.
Of course, yeah.
Sorry.
If you're going to cherry pick, at least cherry pick an image that makes sense.
No, I'm not cherry picking. I'm just asking. This is asking. Okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm asking. Is this something that you describe as shoaling effect, with the waves close to the shore and taller waves?
No, this was
the standing water is at the shoreline.
Yeah, no, this was the first image to show the concept of what would happen with the waves. The actual, the full shoaling effect was on a series of different other images that preceded this. Well, sorry, not preceded, went after this. And you were able to see the whole effect. This was just to get the idea in your head. You don't have to take everything literally that's in this particular image, but go ahead.
No, that's why I'm asking. Do you think those waves or shoaling effect will be taller or higher than 70 feet, 22 meters? Do you see any waves to be higher than that of the shoaling effect?
Probably not. Probably not, no.
Probably not, yeah. So, Craig, can you play those next one in Discord, please?
I just want to say I'm sorry if you hear the sounds of the storm outside. It's getting kind of loud, so...
As long as you're safe.
Yeah, keep safe, man.
Yeah, if I randomly disconnect, it's probably because my power went out, but I hope that won't happen. Yeah.
Okay, and here is...
Where are you at?
I...
Darkest.
Yes, I'm in the
It
Midwest.
cut out real bad for me, I'm sorry. Midwest, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, Tommy, next one's up.
Yeah, do you see the call there, Ranty?
The cold air, did you say? I'm looking at backgrounds and
yeah.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't read the words. So.
Okay. This is something I did for observation, and I'm standing at 22 meters or 70 feet. So, if the Earth is flat and you have the shoaling effect of just 13 feet or a few meters, how far away do I have to push that wind turbine for it to be below my eye level?
Well, it all depends if it's
just
the
standing
shoaling
1,000
effect.
feet tall.
Okay, so it just all depends on whether or not it's the shoaling effect that's causing what's going on in your observation. You have to look at all the other things that could be causing whatever you're trying to see. I wouldn't know until I've seen the observation. If you're just going to say how much shoaling would have to be, if it's just going to be a question about how much shoaling would have to be in the way to block out that distant wind turbine, then it's going to be probably hundreds of feet, right? Okay, so if you're going to just then say, right, okay, we're going to apply shoaling to this observation, and then, oh, what's going on here? Then that's going to be kind of disingenuous, because if you're going to show me, obviously, some of the turbine missing, and then say, well, where's the hundreds of feet of shoaling? I'm going to turn around and say, well, okay, is that the only effect that's going on in this particular image? In which case, it's probably unlikely that that's the case. You do understand refraction, and you do understand sinking, don't you?
Yeah, because something's been lifted up, yeah. But put it here, next one, Craig.
So what you're seeing here from Ranty is straight into defense mode, where attack is the best defense. It's excuses after excuses, and he talks so fast, even on breathing in, so I almost don't have a chance to get a word in at all. That's Ranty for you.
This is my setup, so I had a water level just to make sure that everything was straight. Please. So
By the way, I love people that go
cheating.
out and. By the way, I just want to say, I love people that go out and do observations. Love that you actually getting your hands dirty and getting out there and getting yourself out there and putting this stuff out. So, kudos to that.
Yeah, that's me. That's my observation. What you probably don't see here is that there's a thin black line on top of that green water. You probably don't see this low. There it is. So when I shoot camera across that water line, my eye is at that white part on the lighthouse. Next, Craig. Thing is, below that line, I have those wind turbines. Do you see any distortions that would make those go down, or are they clear as it can be?
Well, obviously the image could be better. I'm not going to say it's sort of like a Snell.
I probably should say thank you to Ranty for acknowledging my hard work. But then again, it fell apart really fast when he said the image could have been better. It's in focus. The exposure is okay. There is not much distortions to go around. And considering the objects are 75 kilometers away, that's a pretty damn good picture, Ranty.
Where you got the wavy kind of stuff going on. I'm not actually seeing that. That doesn't mean that we don't have a constant sinking effect in this particular image.
Wouldn't that distort the image?
No.
No.
It's the same as it's the same as in your model. In your model, you have looming and buildings that we see in the distance that are loomed up. They
that
don't
would end up being
model.
look like those images you showed before with the distortions.
Yes, Ranty, there will be distortions. Just as the photo of Chicago skyline. We clearly see that the top of this tower is stretched really, really bad. So this is refraction. If it was sinking, this would be squished together. This is stretched. And I don't see any stretching or sinking or anything in this photo.
There's no
Well, no, you
distortions
don't,
here.
because, well, if you're going to say that, then that's great, because I have tremendous footage without any distortion on of observations 30 miles away. All of it should be gone. You know, hundreds of feet should be missing, and we're seeing down to the shoreline, and there is no distortion on them. So if you're going to claim that you need to have distortion, wait a minute, so if you're going to claim that you need to have distortion to show that there's refraction, looming or sinking going on, then I would disagree. And I would disagree because that would be actually in your favour, because there's far more observations out there that show these distant buildings and distant land masses with no distortion on that defy the globe model than there is of what you're going to try and present and say this is proof of globe.
As seen on the Chicago skyline photo, they were stretching. If Ranty is claiming sinking, then everything I see of the top of the turbine and the middle of the turbine, all the way down to the part I don't see anymore, that would be squished together below my eye level down here, then up again towards my eyes or to the camera. Everything I don't see here is missing. Actually, I see a little bit of the top here, sorry about that, but everything straight forward in my eye level I should see. I don't. Because what Ranty is saying that this should be sinking down here. How then does it get up again from that point upwards toward my camera?
This is proof of globe. We always see too far, and that's the fact. In fact, I would hazard a guess that the horizon in this, the horizon, if we could triangulate the horizon, is further away than it should be on your perceived globe. In fact, I would bet money on it that the horizon in this image is far further.
Flat art tactics number 1 when you're stuck. Change topics as fast as you can. So now Ranty is go after the horizon of some reason. I don't know how that should be important in that photo. It's a thin strip of water in between the rock in the foreground and the hill in the background. That has nothing to do with my photo. The physical horizon isn't where you see it is anyway because of refraction. So I really don't see why Ranty would need to go to the horizon here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, you basically, I don't mean to be mean, and I really don't mean to be mean here, but the setup that you had with, I know that you put some water levels there and you sort of lined it up to the camera, but you only have to be out by 1/10 of a millimeter. 1/10 of a millimeter to get this kind of. You just have to be out by that little amount.
Tommy, didn't you disprove
this
that?
eye line being level?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You have the pictures
Listen,
in
all I'm saying
your
is-
Discord from before.
Yeah.
If you zoom out
all I'm
again.
saying is that, yeah. So you wanted an answer. I've given you my answer, and that there's probably a very small error in the setup. Now, all I'm going to say is that the horizon, for me at least, I can
Go
definitely
to previous
see water
again,
beyond
Greg.
that.
Yeah. One
I can
second.
definitely see.
So, Ranty, I think I just
let
need
me-
to quickly address that before you leave. Let me get up my
Okay.
desktop capture. Because Tommy actually demonstrated quite recently that having the camera a different angle won't actually make that much of a difference, or any difference, really. Right, let me just get these up so you can see. So, Tommy had all these pictures set up, showing you that it's all level, right? And this is the picture along, looking along it with the camera completely level. But what he did then was, as you can see, he angled the camera so it's facing up, right? And then took the same picture, and what you found was that it actually doesn't change the relative eye line of what you're seeing, whether you're pointing it up or, as he did in the next one, pointed it down, and then you still get the same. Oh, I don't have the picture to actually show. Oh, yeah, here it is.
There it is, yeah.
Pointing it down,
Yeah.
and you see the levels are still the same. So angling the camera up or down doesn't make things in the distance raise or lower below an eye level.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the angle of his camera raising it up or down. I'm talking about what you're trying to do here is you're trying to create a baseline from the start of the tube to the back of the tube, and using blue water to focus your level. That's what you're trying
Go
to
to the
do.
previous
So that
screen.
you can look, so that
Number
you
3.
can look through so that you can look from the start of the tube to the back of the tube and look across that water to say, oh yes, now I'm level. But you're doing that by eyesight, and it's not a big enough, there's not a long enough position there to actually to do that. It's just, I mean, as much as I'd like to say that, these things are really tricky to sort out, and I'm sorry, it's real difficult if you're going to try and say that I got it absolutely plumb level, because it's really, unless you can prove otherwise and convince me that you got that camera perfectly level, like on auto level
Go
straight,
to the levels there,
know,
Greg.
then-
This is the last one, on the bottom, all the way down. I sent it on just now.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Tommy, you should
So,
probably explain what's going on in those pictures to show why what he's saying doesn't really make sense to you.
Yeah, this one is perfect.
I understand it. So the green in the foreground and the green in the back, it's a connected tube with water in it, and it's green so that you can see it. And obviously, if you line up the center of the camera across those two, you should have a flat or a level horizontal. You should have a horizontal to the distances in the background. I perfectly understand that.
Let me just clarify this one before you start, please. You told me to shut up before with the shoaling. Now this is my time. What you see here is the water level. If that black line was a millimeter above, or that wouldn't make any difference out on the lighthouse. That would be just a little thing, and that wouldn't move those turbines below my eye level. Those will still be at the same place out there in the distance.
I agree with you.
how
agree with you.
those did those turbines end up below my eye level? Those should be
One thing I would say, yeah, I agree with you. But if we just go back ever so slightly to that last image, and you know, this is the one thing I would say, and I might be open to being wrong here by all means. But if you look at the first green tube, the one on the left, it looks to me as if there's more green water above the black line in that particular image. Now, if that's correct, then that would give you a even greater. If you lift it up, so that would give you an even greater drop in the distance. So I don't think so. It's not going to.
Would that move the turbines up below my eye level?
No, what I'm saying is it's not going to go against your observation here, but it just goes to show that the accuracy of this isn't quite 100%. It's about 97%, I would say. You know, but it's good enough for this. One thing I would say is look into sinking. You know, if you don't understand what happens with sinking, Craig put a laser image out before where he's showing the laser through the fish tank, and what you see is the laser going sinking downwards.
The thing is, Ranty, every single distortion would show up in a photo as distortions.
Well, you know,
there will be stretching and squeezing and distortions and boiling and everything that it would show in the photos. You can't have distortions without seeing it on the photos.
Okay, so if I showed you an observation at let's say 25 miles away that showed no distortion on it, would you say then that that's just a perfect image of just reality? And if that's the case, then
let's say you had those two photos you showed earlier, the left on the right, with one was pretty clear with the tower on top, and the other one was full of distortions. You see the difference there? Yeah.
So you know that image that I sent to you before, Craig, that I sent you by email, the one with the trucking and the inferior mirage. Yeah. So this particular image here, what would you do if I said to you that you see the inferior mirage, the one on the top? There's a top one that's an inferior mirage. Well, Earth Curve would say, and get this, Earth Curve would say that at my height and distances involved, the inferior mirage, the top one, is accurate because essentially there should be 35 feet of missing on the observation on the bottom image, the one with the trucking. Now, I've been to this location. I've actually filmed from there. I know the exact hill. I actually walked down there and was actually filming from that. So I know that we're actually down to the sea level right now. There is nothing missing in this. But in your model, they would say that there should be 35 foot of missing. Now, coincidentally, that matches up to the top image with the inferior mirage, right? But my question is this. Because it's such a beautiful image and it's very clear and very crystal and you can see everything in its entirety, you can see the truck, there's no inferior mirage going on, that defines your model, just this one image, because there should be like 35 feet of Earth Curve. Yes, I do. Why do you think they say I'm the greatest globe prover? Why do you think I've just, in your model, showed the globe going over the curve?
Because you are.
Yeah. Hold on.
Ranty is presenting this as some kind of flat Earth evidence. He said himself that it's not that 100% proof or something, but he had thousands of photos like this to prove or to show the Earth is flat. He said it's a 12-mile observation and it's a shore to shore where there should be 35 feet or something missing. The problem with that is the shoreline is full of gravel and small bumps and humps and grass and vegetation and some foliage and stuff. You really don't see any distortions doing anything on that type of background. If you see the shore there, fine, reflection. As Craig said in this video, you only need a half a degree over that distance. Half a degree is nothing. But I really don't see why Ranty is presenting this as evidence of anything. If he'd put a 2-meter long yardstick or something on the other side, or something that can show how anything looks on the other side, that would be a whole lot better. So thank you to Craig for having me on this channel. That was a lot of fun. I actually had plans to go on Ranty's channel sooner or later because he and I have somewhat of the same type of observations. Then just a couple of days later, I had a comment here from Shields versus Shields. Ranty is taking shots at you. There is no comeback now, sweetheart. Enjoy your burial live. So I saw that notification like 10 minutes later. Seriously, Dan, go watch that. It will be fun. Thanks for the heads up. I went onto the stream. I don't want to show it here now, but in that chat, Shields vs. Shields called me a coward. I was there. I was getting Ranty's attention time after time to try to get a hold of him. And still, Shields thought I was a coward. How cute is that? When I finally got his attention, he told me to send him an email. So I sent him an email. No answer. I commented in his video. He didn't see his email, so I sent him another one. Still no answer. I went to his live chat in another stream. No answer. When I finally got answer from him, he told me he had said me 8 or 9 times that I should just jump in. Nope. But then, on the following Monday, I sent him a chat message and asked how do I jump in. Here we go.
One sec. There we go. Right, so what can I do for you, Tommy? How's it going? What can I do for you?
Can you please teach me how to tie my shoelaces, Ranty?
No worries. Just out of curiosity though, can you just because it's been a while now since I discussed this one, could you just remind me again of the name of the lighthouse, please?
At that time, I had no idea if Ranty had done some research or not. But looking back afterwards, his kind of smirk in the beginning, he's pretending to be somewhat, not ignorant, but yeah, he's a bit too smooth.
Okay, so can you give me some information about, I mean, obviously you've done a lot of research in this. I mean, you did this over a year ago, and it's your probably most famous observation that you've touted around quite a lot. So can you tell me some information, because obviously this is your baby. I would expect you to have this information to hand. Could you put that image back up, please? The other one?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So again, Ranty is playing smooth. He sounds kind of, he's not prepared for this, or yeah, just try to play me around. And again, at that point, I didn't knew, but I still got some aces up my sleeve.
So yeah. On the right hand side, you have the target that we're looking at, right? So firstly, we're looking at the target. So you've got it at 300 meters, and what's that? 1,000 feet? Is that so? 300 meters equals 1,000 feet, right? Okay, so
Yeah, roughly. I'm not imperial, so yeah, roughly.
Okay, so in meters then. So how much is the land? What height is the land that the object is sitting on, and what height is the turbine as well?
That actually varies a lot. I'm going to switch to the next one here and let you see. We have so the land is between 100 and 130 meters up here, and 130 and 200 meters down here.
Yeah.
And the turbines themselves are 200 meters high. So it's everything from down here at let's say 200, 300 meters up to a total of almost 400 meters up here.
Okay, so 200 meter high turbines, 200 meter high land.
Let's say 170.
Okay, so as I say, you've had this research done for over a year, I think. It's been at least a year, hasn't it? So you definitely know you definitely know what you're talking about. So could you go back to the original image that you actually took as well, please? Yeah, that's the one. So I noticed that you've put a line in there denoting where you where you suspect the center point. What was your elevation at the time that you took the observation? Because I know that it was 20.
Yeah, this is 22 meters.
So your camera was set to 22 meters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're looking across there and you're saying that 22 meters is that point that you've drawn on the lighthouse.
Yep.
Just a quick comment on that. I didn't put my line on the lighthouse on 22 meters. The black line on the lighthouse is a point of reference. That's my eye level. That's to have something to point at when I zoom in the next step, because then I don't see the water level anymore. So just as the point of reference, I didn't measure any 22 meters to any point on that lighthouse, because that would be impossible.
Okay, so before we get into anything more about what you've actually, what we're going to talk about in the future, I have a couple of issues with what you've just told me. So if you just want to knock off your screen share for a minute.
Yeah, let me see here.
Okay, and I'll stop watching you. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up my Google Earth. And I'm going to present you some information that I found. Right, and I found the rights. It's been a while, so it'll be somewhere down here. There we go. That's that one. Just let me down here. It's fine. There we go.
Up with you have the thumbnails there.
Yeah. Here we go.
Thumb marks. Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So what I've done here is I've kind of put in all these these turbines, so for your line of sight. You know, you can tell I've done a little bit of work on this.
Yeah. So this is the first time I see that he's done some really hard research work. All credit to him for that, but something's missing.
And I'm just trying to find one of these turbines. There we go. So if I go to this here, now what this will do, this will tell me the wind turbines that we're actually looking at. So these are the wind turbines. This is Sverod Gerdzarod in Sweden. Now apparently there are 11 turbines in this particular section, which is the top part, the most further away. And the hub height of these is just 94 meters. Right. That is the height of the turbine to the hub is 94 meters.
Oh yeah, that's not those. I'm going to find it here.
It is. I've actually got the coordinates in. You can actually research. You can actually search the coordinates. See, the coordinates are in here, and when you put that into Google Earth, it takes you automatically to this wind power station thing here. Tells you the exact height of the turbines. I've got another one here to go to. Hopefully, if it brings it up, it might be the same one.
I'm going to find the ones here.
Okay. Well, I know for a fact that, here we go, latitude and longitude. Let me put these in. So there's the latitude, so I'm going to copy that for the latitude, and I'm going to paste that into there. And then for the longitude, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it into there, right? So
just a little piece of advice, Ranty. Right down there, Google Maps View. As a link. Click it.
So you will agree that I've just copied the latitude and longitude of these turbines that are 94 meters high. So I'm going to search for these on Google Earth, and oh, why has it done that? It brought it up. It was doing it. Just press OK. Search.
I'm just going on.
There we go. Look at this. Hold on. Do you see that? 58, 46, 8, 11, 26, 36, 2. That is the coordinates that I just put in, and that is the coordinates in.
Yeah. And as you see, you have lots more than those 11 turbines there, Ranty. Those are like 30 or something.
Your line of sight that tells me that these 11 turbines at the top are 94 meters high and not 200 meters high.
Yeah, but I'm going to show you where I find mine.
Well, I know that you've had research time to do this for the past year and a half. Like you said, it took me best part of half a day to actually plot these on and find the heights of these things. You can understand where my distrust with information that's provided to me by people is a little bit suspect at times, because I prefer to do my own research, and when you tell me it's 200 meters and I find that the turbines are just 94, that's when we start to have a problem, because I actually then suspect that there's other things that I need to look into. So I'm also going to look into the height.
Okay, let's start breaking this down. As Ranty said himself, these turbines are hub height of 94 meters. There are 11 of them. They're produced by Vestas. Vestas is from Denmark. And again, as I said, the hub height is 94 meters and they have a diameter of 112 meters. So that's 11 turbines. Here is what I found about what I used. And these are not 150 meter, but a 200 meter. They're planning to build 36 of them, but they cut down in the numbers here. This is in Swedish, but yeah, quick dirty translation. So they built 16 of them. So 11 plus 16, that's
oh my.
damn. And the turbines that Ranty found were built in December 2014, while the ones I found was built in this news was from 16. So these are newer and bigger. And the hub height was 94 meters with the diameter of 112. That's a top of 150 meters to the top, not the hub height. So the top of those other blades are 200 meters. I never said anything about the hub height. I said to the top of those turbines. I'm not lying.
I'm also going to look into the height where you claim the center point of this lighthouse is, right? Now, I asked you for the name of the lighthouse because I had actually forgotten it. So I'm going to find that info. I'm going to bring it up now for the audience to see. So this is Fader Lighthouse. So I'm going to knock my screen share off now for a minute. So when we go up to Fader Lighthouse, I think it's here, it tells you it. So the tower height is 43 meters and the focal height is 47. Now I actually have, I'm going to share my screen with you in a sec. I've actually done a little bit of work on these two. So
first of all, I never said anything about the center line of that lighthouse. Get your stuff right, Ranty.
Let me open this with photos. So here we go. Right, so let me share my screen with you. Screen, photos. Okay, so let me get this scaled. Here we go. Here's the information that I gathered. Now then, we have a focal height of 43 meters. Now this ruler on the right is scaled to the water level at the bottom here.
This isn't connecting yet. There it is, yeah.
Okay, so this ruler is connected to the water height down here. And I've set it to 43 meters, which is the center point, which is, you can search this, the focal point is taken from the midpoint of where the light emanates from. I did have all this ready actually for when you actually came in, but it's been a while now, so I've completely lost all those references. But 43 meters anyway, right? Sorry, the height is 47 meters. Sorry, 47 meters to the focal height, and the tower itself is 43 meters tall. Now that scales properly because it's only 4 meters up to there, to the midpoint, and you know that the tower sits behind it. Now you claimed that you were at 22 meters, right? Yep. Now when we actually scale it and we put 22 meters in, well, funnily enough, that drops you substantially lower than the line that you put in. In fact, the line that you put in puts you around about 28 meters. Now, how does that work? Well, that actually sets you an awful lot higher than the actual turbines. an awful lot higher. When you actually scale it properly and you put the correct information in and you scale it to size, you can pretty much guarantee that your height up here is way off, and my height is much more accurate to being to 22 meters.
Sorry guys. My height is more accurate. Sorry Ranty, no, this is not the way to do it. Let me show you why. I opened the original photo in Windows Paint. So it's nothing magical as Photoshop or anything, just plain old Windows Paint. And as you can see here, there are clearly different sizes of those turbines. Smaller ones all over the place, and there are big ones. So there is at least 2 different sizes of turbines. Smaller one, smaller one, smaller one, and the big ones. So if we take the ones Ranty used with a hub height of 94 and a diameter of 112, there, 1.12 by 1.12. It fits pretty good. It's a little too small, but nothing major. Like that on the lowest one. The hub height was 94 meters, 0.94. Right smack in the middle of that hub, there. And my observation height, 22 meters. Yeah. Seems I forgot to bring my scuba gear that day. According to Ranty's theory, I'm standing below water.
Now you can disagree with that, but you can take a screenshot of this if you like and you can try and prove me wrong. But I went through this, as I say, I spent half a day doing this research, and your random line that you just threw in here to try and say to people, look how much the turbines have dropped. Well, do you know how much that actually takes off of the distant turbines? If they're 94 meters tall, you've actually whacked off about 60 meters of drop there simply by putting the line in the wrong place. Now, was that to sort of exaggerate your position here in saying, look how much these turbines have dropped? Because if you're going to do things properly and you've had a year and a half to do this, surely you should have done this research yourself and done it a little more, well, better.
Yeah. So what Ranty just did there was essentially debunking water levels altogether. Water levels do not work. So basically, the tube here is pretty long, and it's well over a meter between those two, probably between 1 and 1.5 meters or something, a few feet. It's not just a tiny little bit of gap here, it's a long way between it. So when you see in this angle, there is the same gap, of course. But as Ranty is saying, there's a bit more water on top here than here. You can see the meniscus here. This on top here, that's foam. I couldn't get rid of the foam in the water, so there's foam on top here. Okay, now we're in Photoshop, so here starts the magic part. If we see here, this is the original photo of that waterline. I can place a thin line across here. Like that. It's not totally in focus here because I need to focus on the lighthouse, but this is foam. The meniscus is a curved thing here and the same thing there. So if there was to be, come on, there, any large changes, you can see the bottom of the meniscus goes here, and that bottom goes there. I put it on top here. Top is there, and the top is there. There is really nothing to point out being wrong here. I really don't see any problem if that's not 100% right, or as Ranty said, 97. Nothing of this makes any difference to where I put the line on that lighthouse. If anything, I'm probably a bit low as I can see it. At this part here might be a little bit higher than that one. But then again, if my camera isn't 100% perfect level left right, this would turn a bit both ways here. But I really can't see the problem with any of it. There is you can see the turbines back here. All of them, most of them. And they don't move. I have plans to go back there sometime and do it a little bit sharper, and as I've been suggested, have a bit bigger tubes on the top. I might do that during the autumn. So just to make things absolutely clear, I have never said anything about hub height in my videos. I always said that the top of the turbines are 300 meters above sea level. If Ranty is right, and that is a hub height 94 meter, the top of that blade is 150 meters above sea level. See here, elevation 169. There, the elevation is 175 meters. Last time I checked, 175 plus 150 is 325 meters. So that tip of that blade on that turbine is at least 325 meters above sea level. I don't lie. This video could have been a whole lot longer because the visit on Ranty's channel, I think it was 20 minutes or something, but Ranty is just repeating himself, showing him his measurements on that lighthouse and stuff. And that's not the way to do it, Ranty. You can't just measure something from the middle of some place in the water and to some random point. That's not how it works. My point wasn't measured to the center of that lighthouse. The black line was a point of reference out of that water line. This is hilarious, Ranty. And as I said so many times before, I used the top of the turbines, not the hub height. I always use the top. That's why I said 300 meters to the top. It's at least 325. Sorry, Ranty. So just to finish this video off, if I was wrong about that height of that turbine, if the ones I found was lower down on the hill or something, well, all credits to Ranty for that. However, I'm still not wrong. And Gary, if you see this, gotcha. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.